What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Montana Method Podcast one more time. As always, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., author, creator, director of the Montana Method Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Chris Dietz in the house. What's going on, brother?
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. Looking sharp, man.
Thank you.
I should have went full suit. I questioned it this morning, too. I was like, I should wear a suit. And I was like, nah. And then he showed up in a suit, man. Now I got my guests out dressing me and stuff, man. I should have worn a suit.
Just got to do it.
Yeah. Suited up. One of my mentors always said, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. You know what I mean? Right now, you could go to happy hour. You could go to a business meeting. You can go to anything. You go to a wedding. You can go to anything. And you're ready. You know, you're dressed appropriately. And he also used to say, I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed. So he was like suited every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Interesting guy.
Yeah.
Who mentored you? Like, who was somebody that had a heavy, not even just a business influence, but like in life, who do you consider a mentor?
Man, two people. My mom, she taught me work ethic. And then another guy named L. Ron Hubbard. So I study him. I study all of his data. And he not only helps me out on a personal side, but also on a business, family, relationship side as well. All of his teachings.
What's one of the, I mean, you probably can't answer this, but what is one of the most important things your mom taught you?
My mom taught me that work ethic will always outweigh everything. So, like she passed this February, this year.
My condolences.
And thank you. Yeah, so, one thing that I was always like in trouble growing up, but I knew deep inside of me that I always had something. And she would always tell me, because she would work 3 jobs, single parent, 3 kids.
We have a lot in common.
Yeah, dude, just like the whole freaking 9 yards, right? Sports and everything, right? And she would always say like, dude, if you just work hard, you won't have to worry about anything, right? And so that's one of the main things. So that's what I strive for every day, man, is just to be known for having an incredible work ethic. And being massively productive. What
about your other mentor? What's something you learned from him?
I learned from him about creation. So there's a quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes ever. He says, the moment you lose everything, you see, is the moment where you, what is it? Yeah, the single moment where you lose everything is the moment where you lose the ability to create again, something like that. But it talks about creation and being and creating and being able to have something there, be responsible for it, and then create on it.
My godfather, who's also...
Oh, I got the quote.
Go for it.
The single moment you lose anything, you see, was to get the idea that you couldn't create it again.
So my godfather, who's also one of my mentors, he said to me multiple times that he believes every man, well, not just every man, every person, but every man should lose everything they have at least once and get it all back, so they can see that it's not like you're never done, you're never finished. And on top of that, the character you build getting it all back is like, because you did it once, so now you have to prove yourself you can do it again, that you're not a one-trick pony. So yeah, it's interesting, and that's happened to me twice now in my life, where I've lost everything, I've had to rebuild, and it's funny. It really is. It sounds cliche, but as long as like you're breathing and you're healthy, you can come back from anything. You really can. I mean, even in some cases, people come back from health scares like cancer and stuff. They can even come back from that. Yeah. So it's like you're really never finished.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, even death is like a transition, So, yeah, I know I went down a rabbit hole there, but
that's good. Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like,
definitely,
especially with having the right mentors.
Right.
If you lose everything, one thing that you can't get taken away from you is you.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So if today I go out to my car, it's gone, my rent done, I lose all my money in my bank account, and all I'm left with is this, and I don't even need a phone, I will create something.
100%.
Because I have the data to do it.
The experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow you can, like you said, you can go bankrupt, divorced, you can end up in prison, you can, any like disastrous, like, act of God that you think, well, oh my God, my life is over. And the skills that got you there, you still have them. So that's what I love about building a skill and like learning a trade. Not even just a trade, but learning skills like skills that are useful in life in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens to you, because even if everything falls apart, you're still the person capable of building that. So you can do it again and again and again. And each time you rebuild it back, you build more skills. So you come back better. Like, yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's skills for sure are super important.
Yeah.
They can never be taken away, you know?
It's facts. Absolutely.
Definitely. So Chris, let's get into your story a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you from? Where you grew up? Let's start there.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Erie, Pennsylvania. And
I'm assuming that's by Lake Erie? No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, really, right on the border.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's like it's like a little square. Like if you ever look at Pennsylvania and you see that little square in the top,
Right.
that's where I lived.
Okay, cool.
So I was born and raised there, and it was a great place. I moved down here when I was 22 years old with a few $1,000s in my bank account, and got a sales career, and I gave it everything I had, and I did very, very well at it. And now I own my business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is Erie geographically? Is that by like Philly and that whole part of the country?
Nah, so Philly, think of it like a square.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because Pennsylvania is kind of like a square.
Yeah, it's literally a square. So you have Pittsburgh all the way down south, but it's on the left side, right? Think of it as a square with an X on it.
Okay.
You have you have Pittsburgh, Philly, and then Erie. And then up here is just land.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just land. And then New York, and then New York City is like right around
That
here.
wouldn't be, so that's not like the South Jersey, North Philly area, is it?
No.
No. Okay,
No, it's
so
like, it's right next to Ohio.
Ohio. You're right, because
Yeah,
Ohio
so-
has Lake Erie too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it's right next to Ohio, right on the border in New York. Like it's an hour and a half away from Buffalo. So nice spot. But definitely just have to level up wherever you're at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the winters, I would assume, were pretty cold.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually so this year it was actually the snowiest city of America.
Really?
For a few months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had the most snow in the entire United States of America.
How cold?
City.
When you were a kid, how cold would it get?
Getting like maybe like 5 to 6 degrees with wind chill, maybe like -4.
Bro.
Yeah, dude, it's different, dude.
I have no words to describe.
I know one thing, dude. This is just my personal like ego, and also just like my pride growing up north. But my philosophy is, dude, the people that grow up north, no offense to anybody in the South, no offense, but dude, the people that grow up north are just built different. We have a tougher like grind system
100%.
Because, dude, you're waking up and it's -4 degrees outside, and then you still have to go to work at 6 a.m, but you still have to wake up earlier to shovel the driveway, and then you have to turn your car on to heat it up, scrape off the freaking car, go to work. You're driving cold the entire time.
Bro.
And dude, it's like I just feel as though like when you grow up in that, it just builds a different you.
It does.
It just builds a different grind in you. That's just my own ego and pride being from up north.
You're right. I'm a history buff and I'm big on history, so I'll tell you something interesting. These cultures and these civilizations that were like these hard warrior type civilizations that we look up to, think about it's like the Vikings and the Rus Vikings and all this, that whole part of like the world, the Mongols, they were all in freezing temperatures, like freezing cold places.
It's crazy how they survived.
They had to, right? It made them stronger.
It'd be so cold out there.
100%. You know how we see these videos on like TikTok and Instagram and all that of like the Russians training in snow and diving into a frozen lake in their underwear and all that stuff? It does. That environment forces like the survival part of the human to really kick in. And it does make you stronger for sure. I mean, look at everybody doing the cold plunges now, right? That's a thing.
That shit's real, man.
It does.
Some real shit right there. Yeah.
You can't, and you know what's crazy? You can't be in a bad mood after doing a 3 or 5 minute cold plunge. You get out and you're just like, woo!
Yeah, dude.
You're doing like Ric Flairs. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it is about being in freezing cold weather. No, I know what it is. It wakes you up.
Yeah, dude.
You cannot be like...
You can't be tired, dude.
No.
You can't be tired.
No,
like, you go out there, your day is started automatically.
100%.
Your morning is started.
Definitely.
The moment you walk outside, you're wide awake.
Definitely.
You can't be tired in the cold like that. It's just impossible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you said something interesting about your mother, how she worked 2 and 3 jobs. My mother worked 3 jobs when I was a kid too to support us after she got divorced from my dad. So, and I had one older sister, so we already have some similarities there about growing up with a single mom. My mom taught me how to be a man.
Yeah.
She taught me keep your word, work hard, don't make excuses. You're not a victim. Don't blame anything on other people. Take responsibility. She taught me so many good lessons that really made a good chunk of who I am today. And I have to. Like, if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be in my life, honestly. She taught me so many good lessons, All right, so you're growing up in the cold. You said you were getting into a bit of trouble as a kid, so tell me about that.
Yeah, dude. Not paying attention to school. Didn't read any books. Always doing the wrong things outside of school. Doing drugs, partying every weekend. Right. Just getting in the average trouble, right? And I always had a lot of potential. I always knew I wanted to do big things. I just didn't know what, right? And so I grew up, I was told, I was ADHD, I couldn't sit still, right? The whole 9 yards, right? Well, I was just using all of that energy that I had into drugs and partying. And so, dude, I did that like almost my entire high school career. My high school is almost like a blur because I was just doing so much. And I'm a good looking dude, right? So like, people see me, they think I'm like a goody goody. I'm like, I got my shit together, shit like that, bro. Absolutely not. Like, dude, I was gone everywhere I went during high school. And after high school, it got even worse because then I had freedom. I didn't go to college. I didn't want to go to college. So I just started working. So I was working like jobs like TJ Maxx, working retail jobs, part-time construction jobs, maybe making like $1,000 or so a month, and just using all of that on partying and drugs. Well, then right when I turned 18, I got into some real trouble, and that changed my entire life forever. That was like the wake-up call. And I remember myself, this is so funny, how like you actually put yourself in scenarios, and even sitting here right now. But I remember I was sitting in my car, and I was like gone. Like I was like drugged up. It was just me, and I was sitting in my car, dude, and I was like telling myself, I'm like, dude, like I need like something crazy to happen for me to stop doing this. Like I need to get in trouble or I need to get arrested, like something, because I'm literally addicted to like what I'm doing right now. I can't stop it. And literally 2 months later, bang, shackles right there. I was like, bro, oh my God. I was like, dude, I manifested that, right? So that was the thing that really woke me up was, getting in that sort of trouble and making that switch. And ever since then, I was forced to, stop the partying, stop the drugs, lose all my friends. And that created a whole nother being of me. Because then when I was 20 years old, all my friends, they were still partying, smoking, all that. I was home. And I was also unemployed at the time. I was unemployed, drug-free, alcohol-free, the whole 9 yards. And I had nothing to do with my time. And since I was sober, I didn't have the urge to go out and party because I couldn't. So I went to books. And this was the first time I actually ever started reading, like books. How they give you books in school and you don't read them, That was me. Like I was that kid. I'd never read a single book in school because I was like, dude, this isn't going to benefit me, right? I got this book. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read it. I had it for a whole year. Never read it. Changed my life. I was like, dude, holy shit, like I can read something. And then I started reading books after books after books. And then next thing you know, I was doing like a book a week, right? So I was getting so educated. And then I found this thing called sales. And I was so fascinated about like human relations, sales. And once I started diving into this thing called sales, that's when I knew that I found my career. Like I found my they call it, people call it a calling. Like you find your thing. Sales was my thing because it was the only thing that you didn't need a college career for. You don't need a lot of experience. You don't need to be some educated, sophisticated person with a degree of some sort. Right. All you need to know is just how to close a deal. And so I was just obsessed on studying that data. And at this time, I was still working construction part-time. A year later, I got a job at a car dealership, and I didn't have any experience at all in sales. I just walked up to the store. Thankfully, my mom was connected to one of the owners or one of the general managers of it. So that was like kind of like my way into the door because I was no way qualified for that job. I was a young 19-year-old kid, you know, still doing some crazy stuff, right? And dude, I ended up getting the job, right? And changed my life forever, dude. I had great managers, great team members. If I took it more serious, I probably would have done a lot better. But I made what I could of it. But then even that wasn't even enough. So I was like 21 years old. I made like 50 grand a year. Thought I was like the king, you know, where the average income earner in my hometown makes like 25 grand a year. I was making 50 grand. I'm like 20 years old. All my friends are in college. I'm over here making money, being a sales guy. I thought I was the shit. Well, then I wanted the bigger game. And so that's when I took a sales career down here and moved my entire life down here, and it changed my life forever. That's who I am. That's my story.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I actually, funny enough, we have a lot in common. When I was like a broke kid, I didn't really have a calling, but I always kind of had a vision of my life that one day I'll find something that'll lead me to like a better, I'll find a vehicle that'll teach me how to make money, and it'll lead me to like another phase of my life where I'll be able to do better financially. And for me, it was sales as well.
Wow.
I was 18 years old and I was flat broke. I was working 10 hours a day at McDonald's, like making no money, flat broke.
Yeah, I worked at McDonald's too. That was my first job, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So a friend of mine approaches me and he shows me this basically door-to-door cold calling stuff, selling these home services like internet, home phone at the time, you know, cell phone, all that kind of stuff, like home services, ADT alarm systems. And I never understood, like no one had explained to me how sales worked. No one had said, all right, companies have salespeople and salespeople are in charge of selling everything they have, and they pay them commission, like big commission for selling those services or selling those products. I wasn't aware of those things. And then when I found sales, and I was like, wow, okay. So wait, how much money do you make? You get paid how much? What percentage? And then the first time I put two and two together, it was crazy. It was like a whole new world opened up to me. You know, a whole
make some money.
Yeah. I did well. I did good. I was in there a few years with that specific company. I built a team of like a few hundred sales agents, a few thousand customers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So for me, I don't know where I'd be if I didn't find sales, because it taught me you can literally start with nothing and like work your way up to literally whatever you want. Mm. And it's the building block of anything, really. If you communication, it's not even about business. Like it's being an effective communicator. Effective communicators have everything in the palm of their hand. Whether you're talking about a salesperson, a business person, an artist, an actor, these are all people who tell stories. All these people who have all these different professions, what they have in common is that they're great storytellers. An effective communicator literally has the world in the palm of their hand. They can do anything.
Yeah,
they can do anything. It's sick.
Yeah.
So you get to Miami. What is it that happens once you get to Miami?
So I work for a sales trainer. Phenomenal guy. He was my mentor, and I did sales for him for 3.5 years. And I sold $18 million for him.
Wow.
In less than 3.5 years. And me income take home, I made over $1 million in my 3.5 year span there.
Big jump from 50 grand a year.
Oh, dude, it was insane. Like I thought my life was going to change forever until I realized, you know, I was like working, and I was working so much, and I was making more money than I ever did, and I wasn't even trying. And then that's when it hit me. I'm like, dude, I need the next level. I need the next game, right? I'm like, what am I going to do 10 years from now? That's like my biggest thing, dude. Like, what is it going to look like 10 years from now? Is what I'm going to do now, is it going to help me or not help me 10 years from now? That's like that's like my motto right now. Because, you know, I'm 26, I'm a young dude. I'm like starting out. I just started my business, right? It's cranking. I'm cranking on all 4 cylinders, freaking all the way in. And every single thought is like, okay, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 years from now. That's the only motivator that's going to help me keep going. Because if I were to stay in sales, like in a sales job, nothing against people in sales jobs, but personally, my outlook on it, you should use that sales career as a way to move into entrepreneurship. If you want to become a business owner, master sales. Dude, I could go in any business, any place on earth, bro, and I'll literally triple their sales. I could literally go in there, sell that product without any hesitation, you know, because I know sales. right? And so, I'm very thankful to learn from the absolute best and do the absolute best and work with the absolute best team. But if it wasn't for me mastering that, I wouldn't be able to have the confidence to go out on my own because I wouldn't understand sales, understand the right salespeople. And so, it was a huge change. It was a huge change. And now I'm making that switch. And, dude, I'm loving every minute of it.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement. You can walk into any business and triple their sales.
I can. Fully believe that, dude.
Confident guy.
Yeah. Like anything.
That's everything in sales, confidence.
Yeah.
So I equate selling a product as selling is a transfer of conviction from one person to another. If you successfully transfer your conviction of your product or service to the other person, they buy. However, if the other person is more confident of their reason why they shouldn't buy, then they win.
Exactly. It's conviction versus conviction.
That's it.
Where'd you learn that?
One of my mentors in that original direct sales company I was in, this guy named George Zalicki.
Yeah.
He's that guy said he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The guy said it when he was training us on stage, and he said a sale is nothing more than transfer of conviction from one person to another. If you're convicted enough, if you're excited enough, and if you transfer your energy enough to that person, they're going to accept your offer. However, if they have more energy than you, if they're more convicted of what they're saying than you are, then their energy is going to transfer to you.
Dude, that's so true. That's so true.
That's it.
It's facts.
You know how many times when I was starting out, I had no clue what I was talking about, but I was so excited on the phone that the person was like, "Oh man, I like this guy."
I'll do it. Yeah, exactly.
I had no clue what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like if you can get excited and get confident, I think that's 2/3 or more of the battle. Everything else is kind of like semantics, Yeah, all the sales tricks and the closing tricks, that's all great. However, when you're confident, all those like closing rebuttals, all that is there. When you're solid in your product or service and you're solid that you're going to help this person by selling him whatever you're going to sell them, all those answers and all those tips and tricks, they're here.
Yep.
They come out naturally, So what do you think are the building blocks of any good sales force or salesperson? If you could name 3 things.
3 things. So 3 things that are going to help you get the right communication and the right results on the sales team is number 1 is having great communication with your team every single day.
Super important.
Daily meetings, daily check-ins, stats, targets, right? That's the most important thing is communication. Number 2 is the training. You need to have daily training in every single day to make sure that these guys get better. And number 3 is having targets for these guys to go through, right? Like I get daily targets, but like have individual targets, right? You have the team target. That's all part of the communication, right? And then the training is a part of it. But if you want your salespeople to be exceptional, you need to set targets for each individual that's within his reach, but it's hard enough for him to have to put the extra work in to do it. Right. And that's going to be the separating factor between a great sales team and an average sales team, are those 3 things. Would
you agree that? So I remember when I was real young, I got taught that you have to, in the beginning, you have to lack in skill. In the beginning, you have to make up in numbers what you lack in skill, meaning you're not that good, so you have to work harder.
Yep.
Are you of the opinion that once you're skilled, like you're going to build skills over time, and the better you get, the better your numbers get, and it's like it's not so much about work, it's more about like where you focus that intent?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially as a salesperson, like as an individual sales professional, one thing that I was going through is I went from making 300 to 400 calls a day to making 20 calls a day, but those 20 calls, half of them were sales presentations. The other half were like follow-ups with other clients, right? So my attention went from hustle to production. What can I get done in this amount of time? And work was actually turning out a lot easier for me because I was focused on the production aspect rather than the hustle aspect. At first, if you're brand new to sales or if you're in a new sales job or in a new sales career, whether you've been in sales for 10 years, 30 years, 100 years, if you're in that new sales job, you need to act like you're brand new. You can't walk in there acting like you know everything. Like let's say if I went to a sales floor and I'm brand new on that sales floor with the knowledge I have, I would go in there and I would bang out calls. I'm brand new to the space. I'm not going to act like I know everything, even though I do, right? I'm going to work my way up inside that company, right? Just like everybody else. That's my viewpoint behind it.
Yeah, I remember one of the main things when I was starting out that my mentors liked about me was that I didn't have to unlearn anything because I was brand new, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the best salesperson you could ever get.
100%.
Somebody that's a little bit new, somebody that's new, or somebody that maybe have like 1 to 2 years experience. That's like the perfect sales rep right there. They're new enough to not know enough, but they're not so new that they don't know anything.
Yeah, because once you have these habits, you know what I mean? It's hard to like unlearn things. It's easier to learn things than it is to unlearn things. So he used to hire some guys that came over from other places that had been salesmen, and they're like, yeah, I got it. But then they're doing things. They're good and they get numbers, but they could be so much better if they just tweak certain things. And they're so entrenched in those habits that it's like to teach them something new is like pulling teeth.
Yeah,
you know?
They ain't gonna do it. They're blocked. That makes me think of what happened the other day. So this is on the fact of like having a blocked vision. I ran into a homeless guy the other day, and I was going for a run, and I see him there every day. He's reading a book. I'm like, hey man, I got books. Like, you want books? And he's like, yeah man, I'll take some books. I'm like, hey man, I'm just letting you know they're self-help books. And he goes, nah man, I'm done with that self-help stuff. Like, I'm good, man. Like, I've done that self-help thing. And I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I'm like, bro, you're homeless. Like not in like an angry way. I wasn't like pissed, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, this guy really has accepted the fact that he is homeless. Like, this is his life now. Any sort of help or advice, this guy will not take it because he's set in his own ways. Even a guy that's homeless.
That's wild.
Dude, I offered him a book to help him. And he openly admitted that he was okay being homeless. Right?
That's crazy.
So like, and this guy's sitting on the street, right? He's sitting on the same street. He literally lives there. And I see him, and I saw him for the next few days. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, this guy really is accepted that he's going to live his life as a homeless. And he's totally content with that.
That's wild.
You know, it was really, really incredible. And that really woke me up to the fact that, like, dude, there's people out there that their mind is so blocked on open opportunities that they're so okay with where they're at, you know? So that just ties into the salesperson or the sales professional that's been in business for 30 years that knows everything they're talking about. Same thing with this homeless man that is so good that he's willing to just read a book, whatever it is, probably like a love story or something, you know, no offense to him, but dude, that's his life, you know, and he's going to live and he's going to die that way. Right? It's hard to say, but it's true.
The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's up to him to decide. You know, I could give him the self-help book and he wouldn't read it. Right? But he's only going to read it if he reaches for it. Right? So, you know, whenever you're looking for great employees or great salespeople, you need to look for people that are willing to reach for it, not just be there.
Hunger, I think, is such an important factor.
Yeah.
You got to be hungry. And that's why it makes sense why the newer salesperson fits that category, because you can't do anything if they don't have desire.
Yep.
Like in life, period, if you don't have a desire, I can't do anything with that. But give me someone who's like doesn't have any skills yet, but they're super hungry. You could do anything with that person. You know, they'll do whatever it takes to better their life, become a better person, follow you in your business, in your sales team, whatever it is, because that person, that hunger is innate. Like that itch, that hurt in the pit of your stomach when life sucks, and wanting to do something about it. Not everybody experiences that, which is crazy, because to people like you and me, that hurt in your stomach when life sucks, you're just like, man, I need to change this. This can't stay the same. It's crazy that some people don't have that.
Yeah.
Life sucks and they're just like, oh, this is life.
Yeah, man. I was in the elevator the other day, man. I was like thinking, I'm like, dude, I'm so freaking happy of where my life is. But I was literally looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, I can do so much more. Like, I know I'm capable of, I just had this power within me, like, fuel me up. I'm like, dude, like, I'm so excited. Like, I feel as though I feel like I'm living the life that I'm living like when I first moved down here and risked everything. Like I'm reliving that. And it's so, dude, it's giving me so much life. It's giving me so much freedom. Like I'm able to do this, you and I, right? My previous work, I wasn't able to do this, right? Because we had to do certain things, right? But this is giving me the ultimate freedom to decide like, bro, there's no limit on a business.
100%.
You know, on a salesperson, you only have this much. And a business, there's no limit, right? You can do anything.
Right.
It's yours. The world is yours. And dude, it gave me so much fuel. Like it was such an incredible feeling, you know?
So you weren't here just before you got here. A friend of mine named Gus, he came here to drop off my Christmas present. And it's this custom T-shirt of Scarface, and I'm a huge that's why it's the Montana Method. I'm like a huge Scarface fan.
Badass.
I wish I had the shirt. I took it back to my car, bro. It's like the world is yours, and it has all the coolest quotes from the movie, and then it has the American dream in cursive. I wish that would have been cool if you said the word. I was like, yeah, the shirt. You know?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's but it's true, man. Again, going back to what I said, like the world is yours. Like effective communicators have the world in the palm of their hand, you know?
They really do.
Like
you're able to accomplish anything.
100%.
You know, if you just, I was reading like a book, part of a book today, and it was about management. And just me reading that, dude, changed everything for me. You know, I read a few paragraphs, and that was it. It was talking about teamwork, right? And how important a team is, and coordination, and culture, and putting things together. And without that, you're running on an individual basis, right? There's a quote, and I may not say it verbatim, but it says, well, he says, large organizations are not built by individuals. They're built by groups.
Super important, bro.
Right? So when you're building these large companies, you want to have them in groups of 5. Just place them everywhere and have one manager for every 5 people and have one director for every 5 managers. And just send the communication line. It's called the organizing board, right? So I set up my company to do that. And right now I'm building and I'm scaling so fast that I'm doing it myself, but I'm also helping other companies do it as well.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's cool that you gave the visual of like that. That's really, he just broke down like teams and corporations.
Yeah.
Like you have a team, a manager, and then when you have enough managers, you have a director. Like that's so cool how you just broke it down and like people, because you know how people overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the subjects you'll see, like people, entrepreneurs. Oh, how do I hire people? How do I manage people? How do I build teams? And he's like, dude, just this many people, one manager. This many managers, one person. This many, boom.
You know, I was sitting with a guy. The company was called MCI. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it, but you know Verizon and AT&T,
right,
and like all those big companies, cell phone companies. Well, MCI was like the original Verizon. The Verizon, AT&T, they're there because of MCI.
Wow. Okay.
So I was speaking with one of the first employees and one of the people that grew the company so large. When he joined the company, they were doing $150 million a year. A few years later, like 2 years later, they were doing $8 billion a year. And I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, like, beautiful house, right? Amazing person. I'm like, bro, what was the single thing that helped you grow so fast? Like, you're growing so fast. How did you manage? Like, what was the hiring process like? He's like, bro, I just put people in positions when we had them work. And if they didn't work, they left. That's it. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's so cool. And then he says the other thing. He goes, yeah. Bro, there was no business plan. He's like, we didn't want to do a business plan because it would scare all of us. And then we get to thinking. And the owner of the company, this is what inspired me the most. He said the owner of the company hated business plans. And he hated them because he knew that if everything got too complicated, it would slow down the growth. And when I think of that, I'm thinking, okay, dude, that's so true. Like, I'm playing on such a small scale. These guys are doing $8 billion in a year, dude. That's what? That's like 300 million a month.
You want to know something wild? This is gonna blow your mind. You want to know how much $1 billion is?
Go ahead.
If you spend $100,000 a day, it's gonna take you 27 years to spend $1 billion.
27 years.
27
100K
years.
a day.
So as old as you are, that's how long it's gonna take me to spend $1 billion if I spend $100,000 a day.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's $3 million a month. That's not peanuts. It's a lot of money.
Dude, that's money right there.
You're spending $36 million a year. It's gonna take you 27 years to spend $1 billion.
Oh man.
So when you think
That's
of
amazing.
we take it for granted nowadays. People hear like, oh, $3 trillion, Apple's a $3 trillion company. You don't understand how much money $1 trillion
Bro,
is.
that's
Bro.
huge.
You have no idea. You have no
Such
idea.
a big level.
Elon Musk is like on track to be a trillionaire in 3 or 4 years or whatever. The average person cannot comprehend how much $1 trillion is.
Yeah.
You can't.
And you know what's really cool about like those guys too is that, you know, they build these massive companies, right? But the people who benefit the most are really the employees, you know? And that's one thing I'm learning as well right now is, you know, as the business owner, you're always going to be the one that's going to eat last.
Right.
Right. But you're on this mission of this huge mission that you want to accomplish. And if you want to build a big organization, the best business owners usually don't get paid the most. Their employees are the ones that get paid the most because they're the ones that are actually building the company. You know, the CEO is the visionary. And that's one thing that I'm really taking away from, you know, all these guys. If you look at Elon Musk, for example, or like Jeff Bezos or, you know, any of those guys, right?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuck, right? If you see Zuck walking around, you know, he's walking around in just a normal fit, right? You know, he may have some nice cars, but like, you know, once you get to that level, you're at such a different level. It becomes way more than just the dollar sign. It's more of like an impact. I heard Elon Musk at a speech yesterday, and dude, this is just the way this guy thinks, the level of this guy's thinking. He was speaking to the people like at NASA and like some space. He was like, I think we could be a multi-planet living like organization, right, for a living. He goes, life is so short. It's just a blink of an eye. Like if you really think about it, we've been on this planet for billions of years. We have maybe 80 years of life. We blink and life goes away. In this lifetime, I want to create, and I think we can do it, where we put our footprint on other planets and even other galaxies. So we can colonize other planets and other galaxies.
That's wild.
Like, dude, like the amount of think that guy has.
Bro, nuts.
And he also almost went bankrupt. Like, you know what I mean? I think back in 2019.
Yeah.
You know, and he had SpaceX, he had Tesla, and he had like $100 million or something. He put 50 in one, 50 in the other one. Went 100% broke. Like, dude, that guy could have walked away with a $100 million payout for PayPal and just chill, right? I mean, honestly, that's what I probably would have do. Dude,
I definitely would have done
I've been like, bro,
I would have bought some real estate.
Yeah, I'm taking 50 mil of that, dude. I'm putting that thing in real estate, bro, and I'm chilling. Dude, like that guy's got like such a big purpose.
100%.
And I think that's the difference between a successful business owner and an average business owner is the amount of purpose that they have.
Purpose is everything in life.
Yeah.
When a human has no purpose, they have nothing, bro.
Yeah.
I've come to learn that. I'm blessed enough, going back to the conversation we were talking about, those people who don't get that thing in their stomach when things like to better their own lives, I'm blessed that I found that purpose, you know, because there's people who live their entire lives and they never cling on to anything. They never find something that they can at least admit this could be bigger than me, you know? And I thank God every day that I found that purpose because it's taken me on the path I'm going down now. So, Chris, this has been awesome, man. Bro.
Yeah,
I loved having you.
Yeah.
I usually wrap up asking 3 questions.
Let's go.
So, first question. What inspires you?
Me. Truly.
Can I get a...
Yeah. Drop the mic on that one, dude. Yeah.
I love it.
Seriously.
I love it.
Yeah, I inspire myself.
Yeah. That's it. That's sick, man. I like that. You did you see Snoop Dogg? Snoop Dogg got inducted. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. He got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And he's like, most of all, I'd like to thank me.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a quote, and this is a quote. It says, I get my inspiration from my own potential.
Bro.
That's like a model I live by.
It's crazy that you say that because what excites me in life, yeah, I'm excited when I look back and I see how far I've come. But I promise you, every time I ask myself this question, like a jolt of energy goes through my body. If that's how far I've gotten, how far can I go?
Yeah.
If that's, I went from nothing to where I am today. That's infinite return on investment.
Yeah.
If you go from 0 to wherever you are today, 0 is 0. When you multiply anything by 0, you have nothing. So that means this has been an infinite return. So how far, like how much farther can I grow? It's an exciting question.
Only you know that.
You actually don't. You think you do. And then if you really push yourself and you really try 100%, you get even farther in life. And then there you're like, oh my God, I've done more than I thought I could. And then, all right, I'm going to take it here. And then you do it again. So you really don't know.
Right. One quote I live by is, if you knew for sure 100% your goals that you want to hit, if you knew for sure, guaranteed, no fail, that you were able to hit them and accomplish them, how big would you think?
Massive, right? Like there's no limit.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I think. I'm like, dude, whatever I can put out there, I can do it.
100%.
You know?
100%. Second question, what's next for you?
What's next? Like, what do you mean? Like, what's next for me?
It's an open-ended question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Man, what's next for me, dude? So I'm building out two things. Creating a partnership on a marketing company as well. So not only can I get company salespeople, but I'm also going to be able to get them leads as well. So they have leads and salespeople. I'm building out a third avenue as well. That's going to come out in the next 6 months. And then really after that, dude, you know, what I'm really looking to do is I'm really just looking to scale my business as fast as possible and take it to $100 million in a year. I want to scale that like fast. And I don't want to change anything I'm doing the way I'm living. I don't want to buy a nice car. I don't want to buy a watch. I'm not a watch guy. I got a Garmin. I've had it for the past 4 years. You know, I want to help my employees have the best wins. That's my next thing is that, you know, I really want to level up on that aspect and my leadership skills.
There's a quote, leadership is everything. There's a quote that I really like that says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want.
Yep. Just help somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, man. I want to help a lot of people, dude. Oh, and also I'm working on getting on stages, and I want to do a bunch of free events. Just on a give, not even on like a, hey, you have to pay me or I want something in exchange. Right. Like I'm scheduling stuff with schools, and I want to go to schools and speak to colleges and high schools and places around the country and like help these kids out in college. Because, you know, I was once there, right? And I'm young enough to maybe get some relations with them. Like, hey, dude, I was once 22. I know what it's like. I know what it's like going to parties every weekend and having that big goal, but you may not know what to do, right? And I want to help those guys like really level up, and I want me to be the reason for that.
100%. I love that, man. And then the last question, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered by my word and my work ethic. Like, I want people to know me and be like, dude, that guy got shit done.
Can someone bring this guy a mic to drop? Like, he's done it like 4 times. Just a fake one. Give him a phone or like boom. You know?
For real though. You know, dude, that's what I want to be known for, man. Like, I want to be known. I want people at my funeral saying, dude, this guy Chris, he fucking got shit done. Like, they look at me and they're like, this guy gets shit done. Like, that's what I want to be known for.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Chris, this has been an absolute honor.
Yeah, bro. Seriously, man.
We got to do it again.
For sure.
We'll do some business in the future. We'll do something.
Let's do it.
I've been working on getting on the speaking circuit with schools and stuff. And so maybe we'll do something together.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
All righty, guys. That was Chris Dietz in the house, in the flesh. Great story. Push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless, guys. Say goodnight to the bad guy. Catch you on the next one.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches, rags to riches. Came from rags to riches, rags to riches. Came from rags.